Alright guys, so video one. It's a nice sunny day, winter, the middle of January, and we talking about pretty much my story with dealing with eczema. So for me, it started, I say, what is it, 2017, around 2018. So 2018, I was at a Christmas party. And my lips was dry, so they was real dry. So to the point to where I was using, like chapstick and stuff like that, and it just continued to be dry. And I'm like, man, why do my lips feel like this? So no matter how much chapstick or the little lip stuff we put on, it did not work. It was just dry. So I'm like, man, why is it this dry? So it didn't make sense, right? So this went on for a few days. So I didn't understand what was going on, and this is the first time something like this happened. So a couple of days passed by. So now my lips, the corner of my lips, they started to crack. And they started to crack to the point where it's like, man, what? I know it's not that cold outside, or my lips can't be this dry. So they started to like crack. Then they started to pretty much like split to the point to where when I opened my mouth to like eat, it felt like it was like ripping and tearing. And I'm like, man, what's going on? So it took about 3 weeks for it to go away, and then for it to get to a point where it was somewhat comfortable. And then after that, about a good almost within a month, my lips, the color of my lips, they started turning like dark, real, like just dark, just like, I don't know, it's like kind of hard to explain, just a completely different color, pretty much. So they turned dark. So yeah, I didn't understand what the hell was going on. So this went on for another couple of more weeks and stuff like that. And then like I started to feel like the inside of my face like started to itch. And so to give you an example, imagine an itch that you can't scratch. So it's like underneath your skin, like it's just weird, like a weird feeling. And that's how that was the beginning phase of like my eczema. Now keep in mind, I didn't know what eczema, I mean, I knew what eczema was, but I never had any issues myself, so I didn't really know what was going on. I didn't know that it was the beginning phases of what my eczema was gonna be. So now my face, and for me, it started on my neck and my face, and I don't think I'll let y'all know that, but for me it started on my neck and face. And that's where I had majority of the issues. So moving along, it started to become like a big problem, to where it's like, okay, something's definitely not right. So I didn't know what was going on. So now, a few months in, my skin has started to change color. I was always itching. Couldn't understand why was I itching so bad. I'm like, why am I itching? So now it's getting to a point where it's getting visible. It's becoming real visible, to the point to it's like something's not right. And like I said, keep in mind, I never had any issues before. I pretty much was healthy already, from my opinion. I ate pretty good. Everything seemed good on my end. And then after that, so going back, so now I'm trying to figure out what's going on in my skin. I'm trying different things, like, all right, trying different creams, trying different, just all kind of stuff that I'm trying, just to try to figure out, like, man, what's going on? Something ain't right, but I just couldn't figure it out. So now it's like, okay, it's about time for me to go get checked out. Let me go to I went to the doctor. That's what I went to. I went to a doctor, and I'm like, hey, I'm having these issues with my skin. I don't know what's going on. And you know, so the lady's like, well, we'll run some tests or whatever, and you know, see what's going on, and see what we can do. So I'm like, okay, let's do that. So they do blood work, so they run like some blood tests and you know, stuff like that. A couple of days later, everything comes back good. It shows, you know, I'm perfectly fine. Looks like I'm in, you know, great shape. Everything come back good. So I'm like, well, what the hell going on then? Like, I know it's a problem. Something's not right. But you know, the doctor was telling me everything was good. So I go home or whatever. Weeks going by, I'm still having issues. You know, my skin is like getting really red. Now it's like it's red, and like it's getting to the point to where the itching on my skin was getting like unbearable. Like you waking up in the middle of the night in pain, you know, trying to scratch, you can't sleep. So it's kept getting bad. So this went on for a while because I, you know, kept trying to figure out different things. And you know, when you're going through something, you trying everything. You reading blogs, you reading all kind of stuff. You want to try this, you want to try that, and you just don't know. So I still wasn't getting any answers. So a few months go past, and now I go to a doctor, and no, I go to a dermatologist. So I go in there, and then the lady's like, yeah, well, I tell her everything that's going on, and she's like, yeah, okay. So she go get I guess an expert an expert who was in the office with her. So they come back and they say, yeah, we know this issue. It's kind of common. What you have is a case of it was some type of dermatitis. That's what they said. Something dermatitis. It was another word before dermatitis, but I remember the dermatitis. So I'm like, well, what is dermatitis? They're like, yeah, it's some form of skin condition. It's like it has something to do with your immune system and all this stuff. They start giving me all this stuff. So they're like, yeah, we'll give you a cream that, you know, and it should work. And for me, you know, I asked coach, I'm like, well, should it work, or is it, you know, not going to, like, I need to know if it's going to work or not. Like, what's going on? I'm trying to get my skin back 100% normal. And they're like, yeah, well, we're going to try different things. I'm like, well, I still got to pay you, right? So can you give me an answer? So they're like, yeah, well, you know, you can try these things, and it should be fine. Everything should work out good for you, whatever. So I'm like, does it have something to do with food? And, you know, they're like, no, you can eat anything you want to eat. Your skin has nothing to do with your food. Your food has nothing to do with your skin. And, you know, for me, that's like a red flag. I'm like, how is that even possible? But, you know, hey, whatever. I'm not the expert. So I go back, and I felt some type of relief just to know that it was something, because I couldn't figure out what it was. So just to know that they said it's some type of dermatologist, I knew for a fact, okay, now I know where to start. And I'm the type of person that's like, okay, this is what it is. Okay, let's get the research. Let me get the facts. Let me talk to the experts. Let me, you know, I'll dig deep to try to find out, you know, what's going on, right? So that's what I did. I started to study and learn, and, you know, trial and error, and you know, but my face I still was having issues. Like, I was having a lot of issues now, to the point to where my skin is really bad. I mean, from the tearing of the skin to, you know, itchy, flaky. I'm talking, you know, you get in the shower and you just leaving trails of skin. You know, the texture of the skin was completely different. The skin color, like the tone, was darker. What else? Just, it was, I mean, if you guys are listening, you're dealing with the eczema, you guys know. You know, I was dealing with red patches, but it was weird because it would come and then it would go. And I went to another dermatologist, and they was like, no, you have psoriasis, because your skin was really red with patches. So yeah, I didn't know what was going on. So it took, you know, a while for me to really hone into what was going on. And my opinion, I always believe that if you're dealing with any type of issue, it starts with, you know, what you're doing. So sometimes you could just look at it as, okay, let me stop doing something and maybe I can start doing something else. So that's what I started to do. I started to focus on, all right, what am I doing? How did I get here? What can I do now? And that's was the beginning of the journey of getting my skin back to normal. Because it took a while. Like, you know, I had a lot of ups and downs, but it took a while to get my skin back normal. It took, I would say, it took a few years from me knowing what I know now. But if I knew what I know now, I think I could have got my skin cleared in maybe a few months and start seeing results in a few weeks maybe. But I didn't know anything, you know. My diet, another thing, my diet was already pretty good. I was eating pretty much a vegan diet at the time. And my skin was pretty much still terrible. I was eating a real good diet, you know, fairly healthy. I weighed maybe about 170 pounds maybe. So I, you know, it was pretty decent. So I wasn't having, you know, too bad of issues. But I just didn't understand what the heck was going on. I'm like, what? Well, how did my skin just one day just go south? So yeah, that was pretty much how it started and, you know, progressed for me. Now, moving along years later, my skin is fine now. I'm not having any issues. Everything as far as with my skin is going fine. I still, well, something different. I have like a vitiligo patch, like a white patch from discoloration, and that came after. So I still got a little bit issues, but not with like eczema and psoriasis and stuff like that. So it's still like a, you know, an ongoing process. Now, what I did and what I believe worked for me is, you know, my lifestyle as far as to what I was doing with my nutrition and what I was doing, you know, just pretty much I was avoiding a lot of stuff, like a lot of certain foods and stuff like that. And it was just a long journey. But that's what I plan on doing moving forward. Just showing you guys all the stuff that I did and the stuff that I'm still doing. So I just wanted to this is gonna be the first video. I know I was all over the place with it, but you know, this is just to give you guys a kind of like an intro. I had a video like that similar, but you know, like I said, it was banned. The whole channel was banned, just gone one day. But like I say, it's a new day. So this is gonna be the first video, and we're gonna continue to make more videos because I'm gonna show you guys everything that I did and what I'm doing. Because I think anybody can get their skin clear, you know. I was told, yeah, I gotta live with that for pretty much the rest of my life. I heard that from like at least 2 or 3 doctors. It's like, no, it's pretty much nothing you can do about it. What else? I told you I could pretty much eat any and everything that I want to eat, and it had nothing to do with it. And that's, it's kind of a yes and no. I feel that you can eat whatever you want to eat after your skin is clear. Because I mean, my diet is not, you know, super great now. It's good still. It's better than, you know, a good variety of, you know, most people. Not, you know, to say it's, you know, the best, but yeah, I feel that, you know, our nutrition is one of the main things we can do, and a whole lot of other things. But yeah, like I said, I was told that, you know, you can't get rid of it. Pretty much everything that I heard is, you know, I kind of didn't accept it. So that's what I feel. For everyone who's still going through it, you were going through it for years, you can see some results. Because when I look at how my skin was, man, that was like a nightmare. So we're gonna move forward together. So I'm gonna show y'all what I'm doing, what I did, how tips I give you guys, and yeah. So we're gonna move forward. All right, guys. Peace.